Alrighty guys, what's going on? It's Phil here and welcome to my official predictions video for Evolution 2025. We all know as professional wrestling content creators, we have a lot going on this weekend. Not only do we have Evolution 2025 to talk about, but we also have Saturday night's main event, NXT's Great American Bash, and AEW All In 2025 happening all around the same weekend. And trust me, when you have 4 different WWE and AEW pay-per-views happening all around the same weekend, you have a ton to choose from. And before we get even into the predictions, I want to let you guys know what you guys are going to be seeing out of me when it comes down to this YouTube channel. That way you guys aren't guessing as to what ones I'm going to be covering throughout this weekend. So obviously for this video, you guys are going to be seeing my Evolution 2025 full preview and predictions, as well as this coming Friday, you are going to be getting my AEW All In 2025 preview and predictions as well. Saturday night's main event really only realistically has 3 matches unless they make a match for this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, which, I mean, at the end of the day, they realistically could. They could just make it a 4-match card, but to me, I'm not really focused on that one. And then when it comes down to NXT Great American Bash, that show is happening at the exact same time as AEW All In. So I'm more realistically just going to be focusing on All In that day rather than watching NXT Great American Bash. So for this YouTube channel alone, you guys are going to be seeing my Evolution 2025 preview and predictions, as well as my AEW All In 2025 predictions as well. I just want to be fully transparent with you guys. That way you guys know exactly what you're going to be seeing out of me on this YouTube channel, and that way you guys aren't just guessing as to what I'll be covering. But with the game plan set in stone and with everything set in motion, let's get right into my Evolution 2025 full preview and predictions, what I think is going to be happening in each and every single match that's happening on Evolution 2025, and where I think WWE can go from here as we head closer to SummerSlam. You guys can also leave your full thoughts and predictions on Evolution 2025 down in the comment section below as well as also you guys can hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you guys never miss another upload right here on the YouTube channel. Click the like button, that way it can really just help out the channel. It's literally just one of the most easiest ways to support the channel. If you like the video, it shows YouTube that you like this, obviously, and that you want to see it get more pushed out there in the YouTube algorithm. So please help your boy out. Let's get this video to at least 5 likes. I think we can do that. But now that I'm done rambling, let's get right into Evolution 2025, which has 7 matches on this card. It's absolutely fantastic that we're getting 7 matches on an all-women's WWE PLE, even though we realistically only had 2 weeks to build up for this thing. So let's get right into my predictions. Let's do it. Starting off with the no-holds-barred match between Jade Cargill and Miss Money in the Bank, Naomi. This match is going to be fantastic, and the reason why I want to talk to you guys about this match in particular at first, starting off with the predictions, is mainly because of what WWE is doing with both of these ladies as we head to SummerSlam. Naomi is Miss Money in the Bank, and WWE logic really kind of just currently states that if you are Mr. or Miss Money in the Bank, you have the opportunity and the overall chances to lose without really looking too weak, mainly because at the end of the day, you still hold the Money in the Bank contract and you can still cash in that briefcase to become a world champion down the line. I fully expect that Jade Cargill is going to pick up the victory in this matchup against Naomi, mainly because Jade Cargill is the queen of the ring. She has Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam for the WWE Women's Championship in just a matter of weeks. So when it comes down to the grand scheme of things, I don't think WWE should be making Jade Cargill look weak in any way by having her lose to Naomi. Jade Cargill, to me, is going to win this match, and Naomi, though I think she could have a possibility of cashing in the Money in the Bank at Evolution 2025, I think the plan is still to wait for Jade Cargill winning the Women's Championship at SummerSlam and seeing Naomi cash in on Jade there at SummerSlam. I don't think it's going to happen at Evolution. No, I think there could be a possibility of a fake cash-in per se. At the end of the day, I just don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to go with Jade Cargill picking up the victory in this no-holds-barred match. And be on the lookout for a possible Bianca Belair interference either within this match or either after this match, is done and over with, because Bianca Belair is definitely ready to come back at this point. I feel it in my gut that she is ultimately going to be ready to come back sooner rather than later, and possibly set up a match for SummerSlam against Naomi, because we have this SummerSlam being 2 nights. You kind of have to have some grudge matches in there, and if you're going to have Bianca come back and either cost Naomi this match, or, just continue the build as they head to SummerSlam for their potential match, it's something that you got to take a look into. So I'm possibly thinking that Bianca Belair could come back and either help Jade Cargill win this no-holds-barred match, or happen after the fact, and we can see Bianca and Naomi build to their match at SummerSlam after the no-holds-barred match is said and done. So I'm looking out for Bianca Belair after this match as well, so stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about the Battle Royal for a chance to wrestle a women's champion, whatever that champion may be, at WWE Clash in Paris. Now, I understand that Clash in Paris is going to be an absolutely fantastic show one way or another, but I don't understand why WWE wouldn't just make this Battle Royal for a chance to wrestle whatever remaining champion that would be, to challenge for the WWE Women's World Championship at SummerSlam. We already know that Jade Cargill is facing Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship at SummerSlam. The Women's World Championship title picture for SummerSlam right now is kind of up in limbo. So we don't know who's going to be challenging for the Women's World Championship, so I thought that would have been just the winner of this Battle Royal. But regardless, we're here, and the winner gets a shot at Clash in Paris. Now, we are going to be seeing a ton of women within this Battle Royal. We already saw Ava Raine from NXT, and now see NXT participants within this Battle Royal at the NXT Summit last night. And this was being recorded on Wednesday, so stay tuned for just this video to come out later on in the same day. But regardless, we already saw Ava Raine announce the NXT participants. We already know that Ivy Nile is in this match as well because of everything that happened on Monday and she wanting to be in this Battle Royal, so she's in there and everything like that. We know Stephanie Valkyria is in this thing. Probably Julia's going to be in this thing. There are going to be a ton of women within this Battle Royal, and I think that's going to be great to see who is going to ultimately challenge the women's champion, whatever champion that may be, at Clash in Paris. My prediction is that it's going to be Stephanie Valkyria that wins this Battle Royal, mainly because I truly do believe that WWE has everything behind Stephanie right now, and Stephanie Valkyria is going to be a huge star within this women's division, and WWE is telling you that, not like very much outright telling you that. So I think Stephanie Valkyria is ultimately going to win this Battle Royal, challenge the Women's World Champion at WWE Clash in Paris, and possibly win the Women's World Championship. I mean, I wouldn't even think that it could be a possibility that we couldn't be seeing Stephanie as the Women's World Champion down the line as soon as Clash in Paris. So I'm going with Stephanie Valkyria, and I think she is really kind of one of the ultimate favorites in this Battle Royal. So I know it kind of might just be a little bit of an easy prediction to do Stephanie Valkyria and have her win this match, but I think that's what WWE is ultimately going to do. So I'm going to go with Stephanie Valkyria to win the Battle Royal at Evolution. Now let's talk about the triple threat for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, as we have the champion Becky Lynch taking on challengers in Bayley and the former champion in Lyra Valkyria. The feud between Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria over the Women's Intercontinental Championship has easily been one of the best booked things on Monday Night Raw. And not only that, but when you have Bayley added into the mix and how she is honestly kind of just changing the entire trajectory of this feud, it's been one of easily the best booked things on Monday Night Raw for the entirety of the women's division, both main roster and even in NXT. You can clearly tell that WWE truly favors the Women's Intercontinental Championship over the Women's United States Championship in terms of the prestige and in terms of the booking of said women's mid-card titles, mainly because of who is involved in these feuds alone, and not only that, but because at the end of the day, WWE just truly sees the Intercontinental Championship being the more prestigious title over the Women's United States title. And that's not to discredit anything that Julia is doing at the current moment, but we haven't even really seen Julia get into anything ever since beating Zelina Vega for the championship not too long ago. So you can just clearly tell that the IC title is more important than the US in their eyes. And you can tell that just solely based on who is involved in this feud. You got Bayley and Becky Lynch, two of the four horsewomen, as well as Lyra Valkyria, who's easily been one of the most shining stars within the women's division over the course of the last few months, especially since Lyra has gotten called up to the main roster. And keep in mind, they didn't even really announce this match not too long ago. I mean, it's been probably a week since they announced this match. And at the end of the day, I'm not even going to be mad at WWE for that, because at the end of the day, this feud has just been absolutely fantastic beyond belief. So, I mean, regardless, we're at least having this match at Evolution, and I think it's going to be a great stage for all three of them. Hell, you can even make an argument that this should be the main event of Evolution, but with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley being on this card as well, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the main event. So we're going to be talking about that match last, obviously. But yeah, you can really make an argument that this should be truly the main event of Evolution, and I wouldn't even bat an eye on that. But regardless, I'm rambling on too much. I'm going to pick Becky Lynch to retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship, not just because I want to see more between Becky and Lyra as the chaser for this Women's Intercontinental Championship, but though I would honestly love to see Bayley win this championship, I think at the end of the day, I think just Becky Lynch holding on to the Women's Intercontinental Championship and doing something with Lyra at SummerSlam, and having Lyra just continue to chase to get back the Women's Intercontinental Championship to ultimately win it back at SummerSlam is going to be something that I would personally like to see. And I think at the end of the day, that's probably just going to be the case. So I'm going to go with Becky Lynch to retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship. But I wouldn't even realistically mind if they somehow ran this triple threat match back for SummerSlam and we could see this again. But I'm just going to go with the Becky Lynch retention. And maybe we can see something down the line between Becky and Lyra one final time in some sort of big stipulation match at SummerSlam over the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So Becky Lynch retains the IC title at Evolution. Now let's talk about the NXT Women's Championship matchup between the champion Jacy Jayne and the challenger Jordynne Grace. This matchup right here for the NXT Women's Championship is very interesting to me because first off, right off the bat, I'm going with Jordynne Grace to win the NXT Women's Championship, but it's not really for the main reasons of Jacy Jayne being the champion. Jacy Jayne winning the Women's Championship was easily one of the more shocking developments on NXT programming over the course of the last few months, especially with NXT really having to hit the reset button on the entirety of the women's division as a whole, with Stephanie Valkyria being called up to the main roster, as well as Julia being called up to the main roster. This entire development of seeing Jacy Jayne as the NXT Women's Champion has been one of the more interesting developments in NXT in quite some time. And it's interesting to me mainly because of just how everything has kind of come about with everything that's happening with Jordynne Grace right now, being kind of paired up with Blake Monroe and kind of forming this whole Glamouronauts type tag team within the women's division. This is an interesting dynamic that you can clearly see that NXT might be going for with having Jordynne Grace win the NXT Women's Championship, maybe have them lose their match at Great American Bash, and you can see a feud between Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe for the NXT Women's Championship as soon as after this weekend is all said and done for NXT Great American Bash and Evolution. I mean, it's just solely something that I could possibly see happening with Jordynne Grace being the babyface champion and Blake Monroe as the heel that ultimately just wanted to get closer to Jordynne Grace to ultimately get to the NXT Women's Championship. Is something that I think that WWE and NXT specifically is going to be wanting to take advantage of and kind of just look into. And I think that's ultimately why Jordynne Grace is ultimately going to win the NXT Women's Championship. So I'm going with Jordynne Grace to win the title. But it's not just because Jacy Jayne is doing a bad job as champion. I don't even think that at all. I think Jordynne Grace is just prime and ready for a women's championship at this point. And I think NXT just has something a little bit more deep after this match is all said and done. So I'm just going to go with Jordynne Grace to win the Women's Championship and we'll see where things go from there, honestly. Now let's talk about the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I got Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair winning these tag team titles, mainly because at the end of the day, I really find it funny that WWE has kind of just ultimately built the tag team division on the fly within this tag team match itself. You got Ruca from NXT as well as the Kabuki Warriors from Monday Night Raw challenging for these titles along with Alexa and Charlotte, and the champions in Roxanne and Raquel, and it's just crazy to me how far down the women's tag team titles have just fallen over the course of the years, mainly because there's realistically no tag team division in WWE. So WWE just wanted to build the tag team division on the fly within this match. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss winning these tag team titles to me is the only thing that makes sense, mainly because with everything that's happening with the Judgment Day, seeing Roxanne and Raquel lose the tag team titles in Liv Morgan's absence is only going to make the feud between Roxanne and Liv Morgan stronger. So that in and of itself is the reason why I truly do believe that they're just losing the tag team titles at the end of the day. But the only realistic option to be the new champion is Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, because those two are realistically the only options that have a long-term kind of feud going on right now between the two. I mean, we've seen this kind of budding, not relationship, not friendship, but kind of just, friendship by association, and just because they have the same goal of getting championship gold back around their waist. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss is definitely building to something big. And I don't know what the heck that is going to be, but I'm very much intrigued by it, and I've been intrigued by it ever since this whole entire situation is going on. So I think just giving them the women's tag team titles is literally the only thing that makes sense. I guess you can really kind of make an argument for anything that's kind of happening with Zaria and Ruca at this point, because they are kind of feuding and within themselves, kind of realistically, mainly because it's going to be over that NXT Women's North American Championship at the end of the day. But they're not going to have Ruca win the tag team titles, and I definitely do not think that the Kabuki Warriors are winning, so I'm just going to go with Charlotte and Alexa to win the titles. I said I was going to keep it short and sweet. This clip is probably around 3 minutes long, but regardless, it's just going to be new champions at the end of the day, and I'm going with Charlotte and Alexa. Now let's talk about the WWE Women's Championship matchup between the champion Tiffany Stratton and the challenger in Trish Stratus. Now, I'll just say it right here, right now. WWE has been lazy with the formation of the two Women's World Championship matches for this event. With everything that's happening, Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky ultimately just chose their Women's Championship challengers. And to me, when you have Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky as your women's champions within the WWE, you would think that WWE would want to ultimately put forth an actual legit story for both of these women, as they are easily two of the best women's wrestlers on the entire planet, per se. I mean, especially Io, but in terms of the WWE, these two are the best that you have. And not really forming a story for either one of them is just ridiculous to me, but I digress. Tiffany Stratton choosing Trish Stratus for this match is honestly, it does kind of make sense in a way, mainly because of their tag team match that they had back at Elimination Chamber between Candice and Nia. So you saw that at some point WWE was going to be doing this matchup between Trish and Tiffany. It was just a matter of when, and obviously when is at Evolution. And with everything that's happening right now, and we're being so close to SummerSlam, come on, Trish Stratus is not winning the Women's Championship for SummerSlam. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton retaining the Women's Championship here, and it's just going to be a nice match to see for the Women's Championship at the end of the day. I just fully believe that we are going to be seeing Tiffany Stratton walk out of Evolution as Women's Champion, and we'll just see in due time how the matchup between Jade and Tiffany plays out for SummerSlam. So there you go. I'm just going to go with that. Nothing realistically too overly dramatic could be happening within this match. Like I said, I realistically could possibly see a fake kind of cash in here with Naomi, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Tiffany just retains, and we're going to move on to Jade and Tiffany for SummerSlam. So there you go. And now we have most likely the main event of Evolution, Io Sky defending the WWE Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. Now, I know that not a lot of people are really kind of looking forward to this matchup because it's just another matchup between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. But to me, I don't even realistically think that it's the match that mainly every single person is mad about. The stuff that I've been seeing online as of late is that the fact that because of everything that's happening right now, Rhea Ripley's been legitimately the only person that has kind of challenged Io Sky for the Women's World Championship ever since Io Sky won the Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley just weeks before WrestleMania. And honestly, I have to agree with you on that point. The match itself is not the issue. In fact, when it comes down to the matches between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, dating all the way back to their time in NXT, they've been nothing but bangers. I mean, absolutely every single time that these two women go at each other for a championship or for not a championship, these two women have one of the best in-ring chemistries that I personally have ever seen out of the women's division as a whole. And we all know how popular Io Sky has gotten ever since she won the women's championship from Rhea Ripley. I mean, ever since she started doing this whole thing, she's just gotten so over with the WWE audience, and it's honestly kind of just a shame, and it's honestly kind of blasphemous that WWE hasn't even realistically given her other opportunities to just realistically wrestle on WWE programming, because I feel like we haven't seen her in a match either for the WWE Women's World Championship or just in a non-title match since the match that they had back at WrestleMania. And to me, that's just an ultimate crime within itself. And I don't even need to go into the whole popularity side of things when it comes down to Rhea Ripley. We all know that Rhea Ripley has been one of the golden childs of WWE and just honestly one of the more popular women within the WWE women's division over the course of just the last few years alone. So that I don't even realistically need to go into. This match is going to be fantastic, and I'm not trying to downplay this match in any sort of way whatsoever. But I mean, the fact that Io Sky was allowed to just choose her WWE Women's World Championship opponent for Evolution, to me, is just realistically a bad look, because you have every single kind of opportunity to do something with your women's championships, and you have the opportunity to build realistic and great stories with these champions. And the fact that WWE just didn't choose to do that, it just hurts. It just really hurts me, because I just want to see great women's stories for the division as a whole, because with how great of the women's division WWE has, you would think that they would just want to build stories with the women inside it. But I'm not the WWE, so I really can't do anything about that. But regardless of however you may feel about this match either happening or about either of these two women, this match is going to be fantastic. And the whole story that they've kind of gone within this entire feud right now is that Io Sky has always gotten the better of Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky in every single match that they have had has beaten her, has beaten Rhea Ripley throughout any kind of match that they have had. So with everything that's happening right now, I just fully expect that because they're just honing in on the fact that Io Sky has Rhea Ripley's number, at Evolution, we're finally going to be getting it. We're finally going to be seeing Rhea Ripley get one over on Io Sky as she wins the WWE Women's World Championship. I'm going with Rhea Ripley mainly because even though that Io Sky has been Rhea's kryptonite, the fact that WWE is just continuously honing in on the fact that Io has gotten one over on Rhea every single time, it just truly makes me believe that Rhea's just going to get the better of Io Sky this time around. And Rhea Ripley is just going to win the Women's World Championship as we head to SummerSlam in just a matter of weeks. Now, in terms of what's going to be happening after Rhea wins the Women's World Championship from Io and Evolution, I don't know what WWE could be doing for SummerSlam with Rhea Ripley as the new Women's World Champion. We could just realistically see another rematch between these two for the Women's World title as we head to SummerSlam within the next few weeks. I mean, I don't know what else WWE could do. I mean, I guess you could probably build another challenger for Rhea Ripley as you head to SummerSlam, but that's what I thought the Battle Royal was going to be for. I thought the Battle Royal was going to get the Women's World Championship opportunity at SummerSlam, but no, they put that to Clash in Paris. So we'll see in due time, but yeah, I just got Rhea Ripley winning the title, and we'll see in due time how they set things up for SummerSlam. But that's it, guys. Those are my thoughts for Evolution 2025. You guys can let me know your thoughts and predictions down below. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Have a good one. Stay safe. God bless. Peace.